Welcome everyone to 905. What's going on? Ellie, Christopher, Rodney, Robert, Jennifer, Heather, what up, what up? Live Q&A today, fam. Sunday Swole Q&A. If it isn't the Swole Q&A day. Make sure you drop lots of comments. Keep on commenting. Drop them down. Float them. Float them. So we're taking all questions today. All questions. All questions. Gonna get to as many as I can. Gonna start with some ones that were dropped on Instagram stories. I got my phone here, so drop them, drop them. Okie dokie. We got peeps in the house. We got hen. We're in the Swole house, Swole casa. I won't keep all of you. Let's do this. 3, 2, y 1. Hihi. Bye. Yeah, all fitness without the bullshit.
The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Test, testing, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 905 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. What's going on, fucktards? It is your boy, Papa Swolio, and we are live on Instagram, on Facebook. We're live everywhere. It is a Sunday Swole Q&A. And yes, you can ask anything you want. I'm going to be doing a ton of questions from the Instagram story from yesterday. I posted off, and make sure if you are dropping comments, you might have to drop them more than once if you're live, because we do scroll through and Facebook disappears and cuts off long questions. It's weird. So even though I am watching live and I'm checking it out to make sure I don't miss any questions, sometimes it moves. It moves, or it says see more, and then I click see more and it doesn't show me more. So I don't know what that button's for. Thanks, Facebook, for making a useless thing. Useless. Absolutely useless. See more. No, it doesn't want you to see more. So ask your questions. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Happy Sunday. Cold front came in. Cold front came into Florida, so which is nice. Fucking finally. Holy fucking shit, it's been so hot. So thankfully, it's a little chilly. I get a little bit of that nip action in there. So that's nice. Today is going to be a yoga day for me. I don't believe I'm going to do any weights today. I want to do just all yoga, some foam rolling and stuff like that. Been feeling really good. Been really consistent with my execution of my workouts. And because I split more or less kind of like an upper lower with my chest and back, we talked about this the other day, I definitely take resistance days off. There's absolutely has to be days that you take off from the gym in terms of resistance, but you shouldn't be skipping a day. You shouldn't be skipping any day in terms of doing something active, doing something with your yoga, with your mobility. Every day you should be doing something. Every day is some opportunity to get something done. Lay your bricks down to make your progress, okay? There is no day off. However, that doesn't apply to weightlifting. When everyone's like, oh, you got to take a day off someday, bro. Yeah, no shit. You don't listen. You don't lift every fucking day, but you train. Training doesn't have to be hardcore heavy resistance. Training means executing your program. Gabish? Okay. So let's get into a couple questions. Let's take a couple that are just popping up. What about the PBR question, bro? What about PBR? You mean the beer? What question? I don't see it. Do I like scary movies? Ashley Abbott? No, I don't. Seems like this was a long summer. Fuck yeah, Tommy. Holy shit, was it a long summer. Josh Bernard on Facebook, and then we'll get into some IG story questions. I heard foam rollers are good for lower back pain. Is that true? Anytime you start talking about pain, that is a very open-ended question that has to be answered very, very carefully because pain is a subjective response. Lower back issues often stem from glute and hip dysfunction, and that can easily be attributed to the glutes, lower back pain. So it's core strength, it's core integrity, it's mobility, and foam rolling. You never, ever, ever foam roll the lower back. You never foam roll the lower back. You never roll on your lower back. Some people still fucking do that. It's stupid. You're not supposed to foam roll your lower back, but foam rolling the glutes and releasing tension around the glutes is important. Can you drink it while training? Is that a no-no? Depends on what you want, Christopher. Can you drink beer while you're training? You could fucking drink cyanide if you're training. It'll just kill you. You know, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you can get away with it, if you have massive inflammation, if you're happy with your life and you're drinking beer and you like your results, then live your life. Live your life. I'm tired of telling people what to do or don't do this, you shouldn't do that. Fuck it. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. I care if you complain about not getting results and you're drinking beer and training and thinking that's going to be okay. If you're happy with your results, if you're fine with where you are, if you're fine with how you're progressing, then, you know, whatever. But alcohol, it's definitely not going to help your progress. It's not going to help you make gains. It's not going to help you get leaner. So once you get that out of the way, yeah, it's not just about caloric numbers. If you're consuming inflammatory foods, gluten, and shit that is going to fuck you up, then, you know, it's gonna make a lot more of a difference than just 100 or 200 calories for a beer. You're welcome. True, thank you so much for the accurate information for the foam roller. Yeah, if you're getting a massage and someone's digging into your lower back like manually, that's different. But you don't want to put pressure. You don't want to put more extension pressure in the lower back. Plus, there's not a lot of protection there. Most people that have lower back issues, I don't want to say pain, lower back issues, it comes from weak glutes, tight hips, improper dynamic and static posture, improper alignment and tension around the joints. Well, hell, I'm not bitching, just something I do on the weekends. Well, the weekends are days. The weekends aren't different than any other day. The weekends it's still 24 hours on Saturday and 24 hours on Sunday. And if you're not doing your part 2 out of 7 days, do the math. What is that, 28% of your week? That's a huge part of your nutrition that you're slacking on. So if you're not happy with your results, then that's something that needs a really close look, a real close look. Good question. People like their beer. Yoga with a meditation session. Love it. Hell yeah. I just did my meditation earlier. Last day of primer week today. Hell yeah. Zach, good for you, bro. Colton Cook, pretty much do whatever you want, but you got to accept the consequences. Yeah. Do whatever you want, but it's your responsibility. If you accept your responsibility and you accept that, okay, it's my responsibility to get results, and if I am not getting results, it's my fault, then you make your decisions a little bit more appropriately. I really do think that if you take responsibility, a lot of the decisions that you have trouble making now, if you take responsibility for everything, you'll make better decisions. Because if you realize that, oh, if I do this, it's potentially going to lead to bad things. I'm not going to get what I want. And it's my responsibility. It's my choice. It's my doing. You might think twice about it, right? You might think twice. I think that's completely reasonable. Taking responsibility will often lead you automatically towards making better decisions. Chris from Iowa, brother, what up? What up? I was also, Josh Bernard, I was also told that knee pain could be from having tight hamstrings. Knee pain could be from a multitude of things. Knee pain could be from tight calves, gastrocnemius and soleus, could be from a weak anterior tibialis, could be, it could be from a weak, foot musculature. It could be from poor core integrity. It could be from tight hip flexors. It could be from a tight, for the tensor fasciolata, the TFL, that could be causing your knee pain. It could be from tight hamstrings. When you say something is tight, it means it's tight or too tight relative to something that's too weak. So when you say something is tight, you're pretty much saying there's an imbalance. Yes, tight hamstrings mean that something's out of whack. And if something's out of whack, it's going to cause pain and improper movement and issues. Very simple. Very simple. So that's like a general thing. Tight hamstrings, tight deltoids, tight pecs. I mean, anything that's too tight and not the way it should be is going to cause a problem sooner or later. Some things can be skirted and some things can be avoided longer. And some of you know when you have a little bit of discomfort, you kind of like cheat a little bit. You kind of, adjust your form. You choose different exercise. You work around it. And then eventually it bites you in the ass down the road when you don't take care of the issue at hand. So what I try to do is address everyone's approach to fitness and corrective exercise to fix the problem before it grows into something else. Do I prefer to work out at night? No, I don't like working out at night. I have before. I just don't like getting amped up, and I don't like working out late at night. I will if I need to, but I don't prefer it. Amanda Moore, I have nerve damage from a broken spinal needle. Fuck. I started to develop stiff muscles and from not being mobile while I recovered. Stretching and yoga was the only thing that helped. Respect. Yoga is amazing. Good for you. Good for you for not letting that get you down, not letting that keep you out of your game and your flow. William Box. Is that your last name, Box? It's a fucking hell of a name, bro. Oh, no, wait, hold on a second. Your name is William Box. You mean your name is Bill Box? Bill Box. Fuck, man. Why you put your name William on Facebook? Bill Box. That's badass. Bill Box. I love it. What are your thoughts on keto? Keto works for some people. It's not the answer. It's not the holy grail of nutrition, but it works for a lot of people. Oftentimes because you're cutting out carbohydrates, and most of the shit that people eat that are bad are carbohydrate based. They're breads and gluten and processed sugars and candy and cake and shit. So like you're cutting out sodas and all that stuff and beer to be keto. You're cutting out a lot of things and plus when you flush out carbs, you get rid of carbs, your body flushes out water. So that's why people see a ton of results really quick when they drop to keto, because they're getting rid of a lot of the shit that people shouldn't be eating anyway. Sunday is the only day I can hit the Swole. Spotify, my daily go-to, though. Sunday is the only day I can hit the Swole. Cool. Oh, that's the only day you can lift or listen to the podcast. Travis, I watched a video you posted on YouTube a few years ago eating bacon and drinking beer. Yeah, I'm a human being. I have beer now and again. I haven't had beer in quite some time. Recently, I actually had a few beers when I was up north in Connecticut, like a few weeks ago. I still eat bacon. I had bacon yesterday, twice actually. So I still have bacon. I just don't drink beer as frequently, and I can get away with it. That's the thing. When I was drinking, obviously I was in shape. I can get away with, and that's the difference, right? Getting away with it. Do you want to get away with stuff? Do you feel better? Can I have a 6-pack and drink beer? Me personally, yes, I can. Do I feel as good drinking beer regularly than when I don't? No, I feel better when I don't, which is why I've kind of gravitated towards not drinking it that often. And once you stop drinking something like that often, when you have some, you start feeling like, you feel that bloating, you feel that reaction because your body is more sensitive to it because it's not exposed to those types of, I'm just going to say chemicals in the sense of, from chemical structure, alcohol molecules and, whatever's in the beer, artificial flavorings, who knows, depending on what you're drinking. Look like leaner Braun Strowman. Let's see. William Box, real name, LOL, seriously, and thank you for your knowledge. Dude, I'm not calling you William. I'm calling you Bill Box. That's fucking awesome, dude. God, what a name. What a name. That might have made my day. Bill Box. Do people call you Bill, or do people literally just call you? Don't tell me you tell everyone your name is William. You got to embrace the Bill Box, man. Come on. Change your Instagram profile. You got to market that. That's a gold mine right there. Love it. All right, good questions. Good questions. I love that when you start saying, I watched the video you posted a few years ago. Yeah, a few years ago. How much do you change? How much has your process changed in a few years? So many things are different than when I first started making videos. But health has always been a top priority. Even though I was drinking more beer or more frequently. I wasn't drinking a ton of it. Like I never drank to get drunk like that with beer. A lot of people, when they drink too much beer, they're drinking 6, 7. They're drinking. I never pounded them. I'd have like a beer in the day, or I'd have like 1 or 2. And I was exercising. I'm still exercising like hard, training hard, eating like super clean. So it was like that was the only real extra thing. I never indulged so much, right? Like those old videos when I would have Sour Patch Kids, like after the gym or something. I didn't eat that many. All right. If anything, it was just an exaggeration, or it was for like a picture or something. I wasn't like pounding fucking candy. Most people that do those things, that post those videos and they have all this candy, they're not eating that all the time. It just takes a good picture. It just takes a good picture. I had my first beer yesterday in about 3 months. I don't see who posted that. It's cutting off. Oh, it cut off. Why did that cut off? Huh. I don't see that. I don't see that comment anymore. How often do you work out, and do you stick to a strict diet? Yes, I stick to, well, when you say strict diet, a lot of people think a diet is strict. I don't know. It depends on what people think a strict diet is. So if you're asking me how strict my diet is, or do I have a strict diet? I do. I mean, I only eat like the foods that I like. I just eat the same foods, and I eat specific foods, but it might not be strict considering whatever you think is clean. If you're talking clean, that's what I don't like about the world of nutrition is clean, eat clean. Yeah, I got to eat clean. It's everyone's subjective fucking opinion, and I could rage for days on that. I probably will do a lot more content raging on, quote, clean eating. What does that fucking mean? Clean paleo, clean vegan, clean keto, clean. Clean is such a subjective term. It's a blanket term used for, yeah, I'm focusing on my nutrition. So when someone tells me that they're eating clean, I ignore it because I don't know what that means. I don't care what your opinion on it is. What are you eating? I'll tell you if it's fucking good for you. Fuck that bullshit clean. Don't use the word clean eating. Oh, I eat clean. You mean you don't put flavoring on it? Well, that's gross. You have chicken plain, fucking gross. Eating clean doesn't mean you can't put salt and pepper on something. Just saying, the word clean is very subjective. Do I still do Sour Patch Kids? No. I haven't had those in like a year or two. Really, I haven't had not one. This is money, ambient while I meal prep for the week. Yeah, keep me in the background. I'll tell you not to eat shit. Stephen Reed, as you get older, when the metabolism starts to slow down, you mean you start to die? Do you have to go that much harder? I don't think you need to train harder or hard, period. I think you need to train properly. So when you say training harder, strength is important to maintain. You should be lifting heavy. So as I'm getting older, I'm actually lifting heavy. I'm still lifting heavy. I'm just adjusting my volume. I'm not going as crazy and lifting and training for 3 fucking hours doing 50 sets so I could be crippled for the next few days. I go hard, but I cut down on the total amount of sets so I can train consistently and frequently so I'm not blasting my body. Does that make sense? I'm not fatiguing and really destroying it. I'm not causing macro trauma, but I'm maintaining my strength and I'm lifting heavy and I'm crushing it. I'm just not doing as much volume. Yeah, anything not processed is usually considered not clean, but that's subjective. Like, what do you mean by processed? In other words, my healthy eating is going to look different than someone else's healthy eating. Someone might think healthy eating is plain chicken and broccoli. That's not what my opinion of clean eating is. So 2 people say, oh, I'm eating really clean. I'm over here eating grass-fed beef that's like 50% fat. I'm drinking bone broth and putting butter on shit, and I'm eating sweet potatoes and broccoli and broccoli sprouts and salad and steak. I mean, that might not seem clean to everyone. Yeah, so many subjective terms in the fitness world now, clean, toned. Yeah, it's just they don't think about what the word describes. What is it describing? If it's subjective, then you have to ignore it because one person's opinion, right? If you look at someone, you say, that person's sexy. Have you ever talked to someone and someone like, you're with a friend and they're like, oh, they're talking about a girl or a guy that's really attractive. You look, you're like, not my type. One person thinks, wow, that person's really sexy. The other person, not interested. Subjective. It's just a word. How are you defining it? What do you mean by that? What's the best way to speed up your metabolism? Eat properly, train, use your body. Fucking use your body. Use your fucking body. Use, exercise. That's it. Lift weights. Lift weights, exercise, do yoga. What MCT oil do you use for your coffee? Now Sports, Now Foods. It's like $20. You could use that in salad dressings too. You can use it for cooking. That was from, I saw a question earlier that got bumped. What about dancing for cardio? Sure. Dancing, walking, anything. That's all cardio. My thoughts on dancing for exercise? Look, all right. Dancing for what purpose? To move? Yeah, dancing is moving. So is walking. So is running. What's the difference? Low impact? People that can't really lift weights, that have a lot of issues. You enjoy it? Fine. What's your goal? I'm very big on what are you doing for the goal. If you're trying to build muscle and you're dancing, not the best thing. If you enjoy dancing and you want to move, and in addition to your yoga and your weight training and everything else, you want to go salsa dancing twice a week, fine. That's no problem. Everyone has something that they enjoy. But use that more for entertainment, not for like, this is my workout. I'm not a fan of that aspect of it. I think your training should be programmed. I think your training should be deliberate. And dancing's more of like a chaotic, just kind of like moving around type thing. It's just general activity, which is nothing wrong with, but it's not necessarily going to get you a specific outcome. But it'll get you better at dancing and you'll have a good time. So it's good. It's good, but it depends on what you want as the outcome. If you just want to go and have a good time somewhere, you go and watch a movie, you go dancing. I wouldn't use that as like your major form of exercise. If you use it in conjunction with resistance training and those types of things, nothing wrong with it. How are our tops at the gym, more or less? You guys got to ask questions that are coherent. Some of this English is really, whoa. What, if any, supplements do you take? Let's see. Our tops at the gym, more or less, is good in the gym. Is that two questions or one? You don't need supplements. Ditch them. Focus on your nutrition. Omega-3, like a quality omega-3 fish oil supplement is always good. Time is relative in the gym, depends on what you're doing, what your goals are. So you can't say an hour, can't say half an hour, can't say 2 hours. Depends on your goal, your experience, right? Volume, frequency, all that stuff. What are your views on intermittent fasting? Some people love it, some people don't. That's my view on it. If you want to try it, try it. It's still going to come down to caloric balance and what foods you're actually consuming. So first off, I don't care if you're intermittent fasting, keto, vegan, whatever bullshit you want to do. You have to make sure that you're eating the right foods. And then you can start focusing or concerning yourself with the style of eating. Don't just go intermittent fasting and limit your caloric intake when you're eating garbage. You have to make sure you're eating the right foods first before you start worrying about caloric intake, before you worry about, should I not eat breakfast? Should I skip that? Should I do one meal a day? You need to make sure you're still eating the right foods when you're eating them. So if you're intermittent fasting and limiting your caloric intake and counting macros and you're eating these fucking like protein bars and shit like that, it's not going to work well. It's not a good thing for your body. Have any low impact lower body, maybe W bands, knees worse? What's that? I don't understand. That's not even a question, actually. So you have to reword that, Jennifer. How quick would you expect for muscle loss to occur in lower body? Maybe after a few weeks, you'll start to atrophy a little bit. Probably take a few weeks, depends on what you're doing. If you're not doing any kind of resistance training, maybe a few weeks. I'm not really sure in the science on that. It's going to take at least a few weeks to, slowly. If you don't use it, you lose it. Your body's not going to maintain muscle mass that it's not using. That's why you have to keep on stimulating muscle. When you're, and think about it this way, every time you go to the gym, you're going to be stimulating the muscle, right? You're putting a stress, you're putting an external force on the muscle, and your body has to create internal tension and dynamic stabilization, depending on what the exercises you're doing. If that stress doesn't exist, your body doesn't need to do the things and to maintain the tissue to handle that kind of stress. So whether it's resistance based, whether it's stabilization based, whether it's mobility, how many of you do like are cardio type people When you don't do your running for a week, all of a sudden you start doing your cardio the next week or 2 weeks off, you're fucking huge out of breath. If you practice yoga regularly and you don't do yoga for a week or even a few days, you're like, oh my God, I'm super stiff. You just feel that drastic difference because your body just, you realize once you start really moving properly, you do a lot of mobility, do a lot of yoga, you realize how quickly or how important it is to keep your body moving all the time. If you do yoga regularly and you stop for a few days, you feel a massive difference. Massive difference. You don't lose everything, but you'll feel really stiff because your body needs to always be in motion. It's designed to always be in motion. That's why frequency of training is important, but the intensity, you don't need to be lifting weights every day. You know, that's the difference. You should be doing stuff every day, but you don't need to be lifting heavy every day. How much caffeine do you intake before workouts? Do I? And you get some black coffee or espresso or something like that. If you want to take a pre-workout, you could take a pre-workout. Usually those things are just caffeine based. People always ask me about pre-workouts, but you're taking in a lot of that other crap. You're taking a lot of artificial stuff and what they're not studying. So you have to be careful. Some people get jittery or get mood crashes and shit like that with those because they're not regulated. So just be careful. Some people are very sensitive to caffeine, but you can always just do coffee, black coffee. I would highly recommend no one ever do just powdered caffeine. You can buy just dried, powdered, anhydrous caffeine, but you have to measure that very carefully. And there are people that have actually, I think, died because they didn't understand like micrograms and they didn't really understand how to dose it. And they took like a scoop when they took like thousands of grams, of caffeine by accident. So you got to be careful. Just understand that most of those pre-workouts are caffeine based. Is it right to train each muscle twice a week? It's okay. It's not right or wrong. I highly recommend going and listening to one of the previous episodes. I forget which one it was. It was a couple. It was this week. And I talked about volume versus frequency. So go listen to that episode. That's a good question, but we did a whole episode on that. Good question. Jeremy, first day of Swole today. It kicked my ass. Ha! Good, man. It'll teach you respect. Swole and yoga teach you respect. Andrew Hoover from YouTube. Is it better to do yoga later in the day after working legs or the day or two after when you're sore as shit and can barely walk? Up to you. You can do both. I would recommend if you're doing yoga to counteract or counterbalance legs, you could do more of like a yin flow, something more passive. You could do it the same day, depends how much time you have. Yoga is always good. There's really not a bad time to do yoga unless you're doing a lot of strength training and trying to do power yoga. You could do more restorative. You could do more restorative type yoga. You could do that more frequently. It's up to you how much, like with your training program, like I said, you can really adjust. Blew out my right shoulder last week. I can't do incline barbell with barbell or dumbbell. Are you asking me or are you telling me? I don't know. Brian Evans, I don't know if that's a question or a statement. You just added 4 question marks. Don't understand. Reword that, please. Death Wish Coffee, Zach Wilde's blend. What is that? What is anything that... What the heck did you just say? No idea what you just said. What are you talking about? I've heard that name before. Okay, anyway, moving on. Adam, would you recommend deadlifts or squats or both? Guys, if you're going to ask questions, make sure you ask one. Asking like 4 parts, it can get very confusing because sometimes these questions are not related. I would recommend both. Not necessarily in the same day. Brian, telling what? Dude, ask the question again, man. I don't know what you're asking. Ass to grass, full range of motion, good or bad for you? Well, full range of motion, ass to grass, they're not the same thing. Full range of motion is your full range of motion while keeping perfect form. Not everyone can go super low. Not everyone has the mobility to go that low. What the fuck is going on? We're doing questions. Ask a question, Gene. We're doing open Swole Q&A, taking all questions. Okay, so I've been bullshitting for a couple months. I'm about to start back up tomorrow. What's the best way to start back up? So not to kill myself pain-wise. Pain-wise with what? With lifting? a progressive program, yoga, mobility, I highly recommend. Check out swolenormousx.com. Check out my website if you're looking for programming and to get back into it without overdoing it. My programming is the best way to progress into resistance training. It's great for advanced and it's great for beginners. I literally create an entire platform that's adjustable for all levels in Swolenormous X. So if you're interested and you're listening, you're watching, check it out, swolenormousx.com. That's literally my entire approach, is something that can be spearheaded and customized for each person. That's that's my thing. That's why I'm here doing the podcast, because we all have the ability to find our purpose and our training and our direction in mobility, in yoga, in functional training with stabilization. Everyone needs to have that component. Either you're advanced training and you need to go back to the beginning, the basics, you need to add those components, or you're starting off and it's the best way to on-ramp into heavier resistance training. Jeremy did day 1 Swolenormous X yoga, feeling great right now. Would lifting after yoga be good? I've lifted for years, but I just had my yoga cherry popped. You can lift after yoga. I prefer personally. I don't know. It depends on you. Sometimes people like the yoga first earlier in the day to give you that mobility. Some people like it as like a restorative. I like doing it after training. So you'd have to try that, but there's nothing wrong with it. Any tips on lifting with a defibrillator implant? No, I do not. I'm not going to speak on that. I don't have anything useful to add that maybe your medical professional has already added. So I'm not going to make any recommendations on that, but thank you for the question. What's best to get faster and stronger in my 40-yard dash? Explosive movements, squats, box jumps, probably. Working plyometrics, power training, box squats, strength and explosive work. Texas T42, can you recommend a good form of accountability with diet and exercise? I tried an online coach. Oh, you tried you tried her. Can I recommend it? Yeah, absolutely. I recommend checking out my website, Texas T. Check out swolenormousx.com. There's different membership options. The biggest thing with Swolenormous X is the community. You know, my private community is fire. Everyone in the community, no matter where they're starting from, it's amazing support, it's amazing accountability. Launching a brand new live masterclass series in the group, breaking down certain exercises, targeted exercises, nutrition. So we do live masterclass. We have accountability meetings in the private Facebook group. So check it all out. And anyone that's listening, you're all welcome. Swolenormous community, the private community, is the absolute tits. It's the absolute tits. I love my people. I love all of you. But those of you that are in the private groups and part of Swolenormous X, you know, they're just everyone that's really focused and is really serious about getting, you know, improving themselves and, you know, living a healthy, fit lifestyle, but the right way. You know, we don't push supplements. We don't push scams and fads and crash course dieting. We actually approach fitness the proper way. Take off your glasses? No. Go watch something else if you don't like me wearing glasses. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. It's my show. Beesh. Kevin Nobles. Let's see. Jeremy, thanks for the answer. Yoga, cold sweet potato, catching the live swole. I love cold sweet peats. I love cold. Dude, I've been holding out with buying into Swole X. I think I will today just for the yoga. Yoga is the shit. It is the shit. Adding some new classes too. So been on the editing kick. Been editing nonstop. Oh, I can't wait to get back on a better sleep schedule. Had a lot of stuff to edit. Had a lot of stuff to go through. I'm doing a lot of content for Swole X today. Going to be pumping out a lot of videos. That's my goal. Kevin, I haven't even gotten to the Instagram story questions yet, so I will get to those. Good questions, fam. Keep them coming. Kevin Nobles, do you recommend that in the winter season to go harder or add more to gym routines as opposed to when the weather is warmer? Also, putting in account the holidays, we tend to eat more. You could do whatever the hell you want. Go harder, I don't care. Some people like to go bulk people use the winter to bulk because it's an excuse to eat and to bundle up, and people aren't showing off their muscles. So people tend to bulk up a little bit, quote unquote, in the winter. If you want to make that excuse and go harder and eat more, it depends on what works for you. I really would just be careful. It's a tough time of year. That's why with Swolenormous X, I've been doing a lot of remember, a lot of you probably have seen that I was doing, specials and getting people in the community and getting people started, because if you can hack and you can get consistent and get accountable over these couple months leading into the new year, get a head start for 2019. Why wait? If you can be disciplined and get through this period, you're going to crush your fitness. People just have to get through that hump, and there's just no support. No one has support this time of year because everyone in your social circle are making excuses to be lazy fucks and to eat shit. And everyone's bringing in food, and everyone's bringing in leftovers, and everyone's pressuring you to eat. So if you get with a community of people that are serious about their fitness all year round, you're in a good spot. You're in a good place mentally and physically. What's the best way to get a good workout at home? I travel a lot for work, and I'm hardly ever home these days. I have a hotel. If you have a hotel gym, of course, yoga, bring bands. You can get heavy resistance bands that might weigh like 5-10 pounds total. You can bring them with you. So bands, you can put them in the door. You can use hotel gyms. That's why, another reason why I created Swolenormous X, because you can do it with bands. You could do it at home. You could do it on the road, and you can take it anywhere with you. Yoga classes, all that stuff. So again, anyone that's looking for stuff that's traveling a lot, it's perfect. Keep in the palm of your hand, swolenormousx.com. Danya, spent my day meal prepping and listening to earlier podcasts on SoundCloud. Hell yeah. Make sure, you listen to the earlier podcast. You're going back in the archives. I see. How can you bulk without bulk supplements? Eat real food. What do you think supplements are? It's just like ground up shit. You don't need BCAAs. You don't need glutamine. If anything, you take creatine, but if you eat red meat, you're fine. You can take creatine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not going to, no supplement is going to get you your results without having proper nutrition, sleep, and training. It's not going to do anything. What's the difference between your basic and unlimited programs on swolenormousx.com? So swolenormousx.com is where everything is. The basic, there's a list. If you click on it, it'll explain everything, what you get in either one. So I can explain here, or you can just look and literally it explains it on the site. So just click on it and it'll tell you what you get. The basic is you get the access to the amazing community. So you get access to the Nutrition Jumpstart. You get access to the live masterclasses and accountability meetings in the private Facebook group. And they're also uploaded to the masterclass section on the website. So you get access to all the previous masterclasses and all the future ones. So it's really great for accountability. It's great for having some more access to myself, access to the entire private community where you get, updates, you get all the really good instructionals based on literally the teachings that we talk about here on the Daily Swole. So this week, I think we're going to be going over glute activation in the masterclass this week in Swolenormous X, and as well as an accountability meeting tomorrow, kind of like a State of the Swole, where I really give everyone the updates and let everyone know what's coming and answer any questions, private Q&As and things like that. So the basic is a great way to get started. It's super, super powerful for the community and the support. And the unlimited is going to give you access to literally everything. So when you go the unlimited, you get all the programs. You get the 90-day dash program. You get all the yoga classes. You get all the master classes and the nutrition, of course, all the recipes, the new program releases, all the workouts, all the instructional videos. You get everything. Everything. So the unlimited, if you want all the content and all the hardware, that's the way to go. You get absolutely fucking everything. So you just get thousands and thousands of dollars worth of content right off the bat, and constantly uploading new classes, new workouts, and new programs. So it's fire. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, man, just feel free to message me too. Jason, thanks, dude. Swolenormous X is totally worth it. Invest in yourself, put in the effort and work, and you'll reap the benefits. It's a great bunch of members. Hell yeah. And I always get so excited when I have, when we start taking it to the next level. I love my peeps. You guys are awesome. And girls, you peeps. Swolenormous X for the win. Jennifer Brown, do you change your meals based on whether you train or not? Like more carbs on training days, fewer on rest? You can. It's really not so much about the daily caloric intake. It's kind of like your body is dynamic, so it never stops. It never stops. It's not like it's what you ate today and then tomorrow is a clean slate. Your body's very dynamic. You don't lose the calories on Monday because it's Tuesday. So it's pretty much like your general pattern. How consistent you are is better. If you're not exercising, you're not utilizing as many calories on that one day, but you're also recovering possibly from the previous day's activities. So I don't monitor my stuff that closely. Someone else asked me on Instagram, what's your approximate caloric intake? I don't even know. I cannot even guess because I really do not pay attention. I keep trying to remind myself to try to add some of that up. I just don't think about it. So I usually go by how I feel. If I feel flat or I feel a little soft, it's usually because I'm not having enough carbs. I don't have enough sweet potatoes in my system, so I'll kind of have a couple more and I feel great. But you can do more carbs on training days. You can, but it's usually what the consistent overall during the week that you're doing. Where can I get the bands you mentioned? Google. There are many, many resistance bands you can get. There are many different companies. I think one is Body Elastics is a good one. Body Elastics, I think makes pop if they're still around. I remember them from like years ago, but there are other ones that make really heavy duty resistance bands. Sharon, do I need a gym membership to get the full experience with Swolenormous? Debating dropping the gym membership to try Swolenormous. I won't use a gym membership nearly as often once it starts to snow. That's a good point. You can absolutely, when you say full experience, you can absolutely do all the stuff at home. It depends on what equipment you have. So for example, you're not going to be able to do a incline barbell bench if you don't have an incline barbell bench, but you can do incline dumbbells. I don't know if you have equipment at home. You could do push-ups. You could do body weight stuff. For example, the full yoga class, the yoga studio in Swolenormous X, you don't need equipment. You have you have your yoga mat and stuff. You could do that right at home. And there's a lot of stabilization exercise that you can do with no weight or minimal weight. But of course, if we're doing dumbbell curls or something or barbell rows, you're going to have to adjust. But there's many, many exercise demos, and the instructional video library is constantly growing, which allows you to customize and swap things out. And that's another reason why it's so powerful, the community, because you can always refer to the community, post questions, and interact with myself and everyone else that's been through these programs multiple times. There are people that have been members of Swolenormous X for well over a year and a half since we began. And there's always a modification. There's always a substitution. So you can absolutely do things at home. It just depends on what you have access to. Okay. So you can't do weights if you don't have weights. If you have dumbbells, then you got something to work with. If you don't have a bench, okay, do you have a ball? Do you have a chair? There's always a modification and something you can substitute out. It just depends on what you have access to if you decide to work out at home. A lot of the members have full-blown home gyms and they build them out and they get new equipment and stuff like that. So it really depends on what you have access to. So full experience is very, very subjective. But of course, the community, you have the yoga classes, you have all the workouts, and a lot of them most of them can be done at home with minimal equipment. It's designed that way. Gonna roast anyone in the YouTube fitness world. I will again. I will. I'll do another video probably this week. I just had a lot of stuff going on. I haven't been able to make a video as often as I wanted to. I might just do a general vlog type video, maybe today or tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna have a roast coming up. But I definitely have people in mind. Oh, for sure. There's no shortage, Tom, of fitness jabronis. There's no shortage of that. This is Corbin on Instagram. Good questions, everyone. Thank you so much for your questions. What's the best training for an ecto body type? Don't get caught up in somatotypes. Those are bullshit. To gain muscles easier. First off, there's no gaining muscles easier for anyone. No, there's no such thing. A hard gainer means someone who's not fucking eating enough food. Don't buy into that shit. You just got to eat more. There's no gaining muscles easier for anyone. Gaining muscles always hard. If you're a hard gainer, it means you're a hard eater and you're not consistent enough. You're not eating enough. People say, oh, I eat so much calories. Well, you don't eat enough then, or you're not eating the right foods. you're not doing it right. Take responsibility. You're not a hard gainer. You just haven't figured it out yet. To gain muscle, to build, you got to eat when you're full. You got to fucking stuff your face. And some people have to stuff their face even more. You can do it. Just people have to eat sometimes ungodly amounts of food. Thank you. I do have some basic equipment, up to 40-pound dumbbells, a box, and bands. Oh yeah. You'll be great. For sure, Sharon. It'll be perfect for you. Yeah, you have plenty to get it done. I mean, if you just had absolutely nothing, it's like, sure. Well, I mean, but of course, if you didn't have anything, you can get something. And plus, if there's something that you might need, you could always purchase it. You know, Amazon ships really, really fast. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Especially get you through the winter for sure. For sure. You'll learn a ton too. So eventually when you utilize, a lot of people use it in combination with their gym membership, which is ideal. It's great. But I mean, if you have the stuff at home, it's still ideal. It depends on how you like to work out. Some people love to work out at home. Some people don't. So even if they had access to a gym, they don't want to work out in a gym. They want to work out at home. So far, I just have a Gold's Gym bench set, and I have been curious about using it instead of going to the gym. Well, you can definitely, there's really no difference between going to a gym and training at home. If you have the equipment at home, you have the equipment. Some people just get more inspired and more, invigorated by going to a gym, being around people. Some people have to get out of the house. Some people just don't have the room to have the resistance, the weights and things like that. But if you have a garage and you have it all set up, nothing wrong with it. Weights are weights. Resistance is a resistance. When you say food, do you mean proteins? I don't, in terms of what, Michael? That looks like a random comment for me. When I say food, I mean food. I mean everything. I don't just mean protein. I'm not sure what exactly you're referring to, what question. Josh Bernard, I just want to say you are the best fitness mentor I've ever seen. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Most fitness peeps would never do this type of Q&A podcast that are so interactive and informative. Most people just say, buy my program and don't like giving information. So thanks a lot. Yeah, I hear you. Well, look, I mean, I'll tell you straight up. I absolutely I would love if each and every single one of you signed up and joined Swolenormous X. I just want people that are in there that are serious, and like-minded individuals. And that's usually who ends up joining. So whether or not you join the family, it's completely up to you. There's no pressure. And I'm proud and happy that you're here, and happy to offer the information that I can, to as many people as I can. So yeah, I'd love to see you in there. But if not, it's all good. It's all good. I like to answer questions directly. I love having certain topics that I want to talk about, but also I want to make sure, because a lot of times during each and every day, some of you are working, some of you are all over the place. You don't see my live show and you can't get your questions answered. I get thousands of freaking messages, so trying to get as many as I can directly back to you. Home workouts rock. I guess they do. Dania, in your training plans, do you decipher between male and female needs, or they're little, none gender? I have read that our cycle alone affects hormones that in turn affect our fitness experience. Well, what do you mean by fitness experience? All my programs and my entire structure of Swolenormous X is heavily revolved around resistance training, yoga, mobility, and overall health and wellness. And we're adding meditative components and more psychological approach, and learning how to eat the foods that are best for your body. So there's a lot of education in Swolenormous X. One of my big pet peeves, and one of the reasons why I started doing Swolenormous, one of the reasons why I started doing the Daily Swole, one of the reasons why I started and launched Swolenormous X is because there is so much cookie cutter bullshit out there. And I got sick of seeing it, because when you have so many people and you have a big following and you're giving out, quote, custom programs, bullshit. They're not custom programs. It's a set program and you're tweaking it just a little bit. And here's the thing, you have to. You can't do custom programs for thousands of fucking people. It's impossible. So I thought long and hard, and I designed it for, literally, I'm still tweaking it, I'm still updating it. That's why it's a membership, because I'm updating and adding shit to it all the time, because things change and people's needs and the needs of the family change regularly. and I want to be on the cutting edge of everything. I want to make sure it's staying up to date. I want to make sure that it's giving everyone what they need. And that's going to change as new people come in and as we learn and as we educate and as the world progresses. So that's why it's a membership, because you're investing in yourself. It'll keep you accountable, and I'm constantly adding new content. So the education component is super important. You have to learn. You have to be psychologically invested. You have to be ready to, you have to take responsibility. And if you're just following the bouncing ball and just taking I'll do this. Oh, let me eat like that. Let me take your diet plan. Let me do your program. You're not fucking learning anything. You're not learning anything. You're not learning anything about your body. You're just following the leader. And that's not how it works. So everything that I do is customizable. It's for all levels. It might not always be specifically this is a male program or a female program, because that's not necessary. But how you adjust and how you modify it and how you use the, let's say the programming structure can be very, very individualized. So in terms of hormones affecting your experience, I'm not sure what you mean by affecting your quote experience, but there are tons of women and tons of dudes in Swole Enormous X, and everyone fucking loves it. And everyone's getting amazing results. So that's probably the best answer. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it. Dash, Alan Roberts, and Jeff from Athlean X are the only legit fitness guys on YouTube. Thanks, fam. This is Corbin. Thanks for your simplicity in the answers, because a lot of people in social media and supplement companies are making us confused. They like you confused. If you're confused, you buy more fat burners and weight gainers and weight loss shit. People tend to buy supplements when they're confused, because supplements promise you're going to get this, you're going to do this. Not true. You said stuff your face with food if I'm trying to bulk and build muscle. I'm saying you have to eat more than you think you do. If you're not gaining, you're not eating enough. Should I eat more protein like tuna, beef, and chicken? I like grass-fed beef. I'm not going to tell anyone to go eat canned tuna and chicken, because I think those are weaker meats. The quality of the food is paramount, and then the volume of it. What you're eating is number one, and then if you want to gain, you have to eat more of it. If you want to lose, you got to eat less of it. That's very simple, and that's very rudimentary, but you have to figure out what is best for your body first. Let's see. Consistency is key, period. Absolutely. Colton, most people just offer workout programs or supplements, but you offer knowledge. You the man. Thank you, Colton. I try to educate as well as provide services. You're going to benefit more from everything in your life, especially my programming, if you are invested in developing yourself as a human being. So if you're serious about, and that's why I say you have to be serious to be ready. Okay, I'm not just going to be hand spoon fed. I have it all broken down. My programs, when you get in there, the 90-day dash, it's like literally day by day, and it'll say day 1, day 2, and you just fucking do it. And as you learn and develop what you want and what your strengths and weaknesses are, then that's where, after you finish that program, you branch off into the other programs that I'm adding. You go into more advanced yoga classes. You get more involved and take your training to the next level with the other workouts in the archive. And there's constant content. And I'm uploading all these workouts that I do myself. I upload into the site, and I use them in future programming for Swole, for Ignite, for more endurance, for more hypertrophy. There's different styles of programs, corrective exercise. We have shoulder awareness program, working on a glute program. So there's a lot of stuff coming for sure. You're welcome, Dania. I enjoy your no nonsense approach. No bullshit, fam. No bullshit, fam. No bullshit. All right. So good. Tons of fucking questions. Let me get a couple from Instagram because IG stories. Because we had a lot of people on Facebook and stuff asking questions, which is fantastic, but I haven't gotten to the IG stories yet. Dania, by educating peeps, you build trust. Building trust builds a solid customer base, smart business. It's just the right thing to do. I appreciate that. And that's absolutely correct. But it's smart business because it's being a fucking good human being. It's like doing the right thing. Education, if I teach you and I teach you how to fish and I teach you and I educate you how to eat better, what's the best approach, you're going to fucking feel better. You're going to feel better. You're going to be in a better position to take the next step with your health. I'm actually trying to teach people that you have control over your health. So rather than just fucking sell you some 6-week challenge and some bullshit, because it sounds, hey, 6-week challenge, starts November 1st, join my challenge. All right, you'll get some money and you'll sell people, and people work out for 30 fucking days and they're a fat ass for the next 2 months. So it doesn't build any kind of consistency. I hate those fitness fucking challenges. I'm not gonna go down that road. I'm just gonna get upset. Maybe that's my next YouTube video. The fucking challenge things. God, I hate challenges. I hate challenges. Just that word frustrates me. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's such a short-term vision, and it's just such a money pull. It's like a challenge is like a physical supplement. A challenge to a like a challenge in terms of like the actual physical fitness programming is the same as like a nutrition supplement. Hey, take this supplement, you'll lose weight faster. Hey, do this challenge. It's like a quick fix. Psychologically, it's a quick fix. You pay $100 and you join a challenge. And hey, I did 100 squats every day. Good for you. The fuck does that do? Ryan, I feel like I have a sugar addiction. Is that a real physical thing or more of a physiological thing? I think it's everything, actually. Was it like the dopamine pathways? And yeah, I think a sugar addiction is similar to heroin, actually. Isn't it the same pathways and the same like physiological response? It's a real thing, but it's also people use that as a crutch and let that actually take control. So I think people love to think they have a sugar addiction because it gives them an excuse to keep on fucking eating it. But yeah, if you stop eating it, you're going to feel cravings to eat it. That's why you got to stop fucking eating it. You got to focus on eating the right shit so you stop having those cravings. I don't have cravings for sugar anymore. I don't. No cravings. Travis Stubbs, I cut out sugar and empty carbs and I feel 100 times better. For sure, bro. Absolutely. Angela, should I use more weight with squats and exercises or more repetitions? What's your goal, Angela? Again, it comes down to what you want. You definitely want to work on strength. You don't want to just be doing 20, 30, 40 reps for squats. So I need more context. I don't really know what you're trying to do, what you're doing now. Good question. Just not enough meat. There's not enough meat on that bone for me to share it with you. Know what I'm saying? I need some beef. Amanda Horton. To those wondering about working out at home, I work out at home. I'm in Swole Enormous X, and you get the full experience. Hands down, best community program I've ever joined. Dash is legit. You're going to make me blush in my beard. I have the unlimited membership. Don't overthink it. Just join. You won't regret it. Oh, thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. A bigger booty. Angela wants a bigger booty. I know you want to, okay. I don't think any girl doesn't. Well, I'm sure some women don't want to, maybe they have too big of a butt and they want to get smaller. But you want a bigger booty, but what does that mean? Should I use more weight? I don't know what you're doing now. So if you're already using a ton of weight, I don't want to say I need more context. So yes, you should be doing heavy squats if you want a bigger booty. However, it depends on what muscles are working when you're doing your squats. If you don't have good posture, meaning dynamic and static posture, if you don't have proper hip alignment, if your glutes are not firing properly, you could do squats all you want. You're just going to be overactivating your lower back, your spinal erectors. You're going to be overactivating your hamstrings. You're going to be hitting too much of your quads. You might not get the glute development you want ever. You might always be less than satisfied because you don't have the proper muscles firing. It's not all about the weight. It's about what muscles are primarily moving that weight. So if your glutes are activated properly with corrective exercise, with activation protocols, right? Then when you do your squats and you have proper range of motion, you have proper alignment, then your glutes will be firing as they should, and then it'll make it a better exercise. But if your glutes are dormant, so to speak, and you never really targeted them properly, a squat's not going to make a difference. I shouldn't say it's not going to make a difference, but you're going to miss out on a lot of benefit of the squat. Squats are fantastic. Everyone should be doing squats, but everyone should also be making sure that they're fixing the imbalances that are caused by sitting at a fucking desk all day and sitting in a car and sitting in a chair. It destroys glute activation, so you need to fire that shit. Pun intended. You like that? See what I did there? See how I did that? You guys like that shit. You guys are sluts for this knowledge. You love it. You love it, don't you? Don't you? You're welcome. Well, it's not just your form, Angela. It's not just your form. It's glute activation. Listen to some of the episodes. Last week, I believe it was glute week or leg week. A lot of stuff on glute activation. So listen to some of the most recent episodes. Is deep cleaning my entire house considered a workout because I'm freaking tired? No, it's not. It's activity, but it's necessary activity. The glute activation podcast is a good one. Oh, so I did have one on glute activation. My glutes are sore today for the first time ever, I believe. Nice. The glute activation podcast. Well, good. Good. Well, we're doing that this week. So whichever, I mean, for those of you that were talking about Swolenormous X memberships, doing a glute masterclass live in the group on, I believe it's going to be Thursday. I want to say Thursday. So that's this week. So, I mean, that's included in either the basic or the unlimited membership. So you can check that out, swolenormousx.com, if you want to learn more about the glute activation. We're going to go into it deep. Get it? Alicia, so is, quote, quad dominant a myth? I squat up to 300 pounds and never get sore in glutes or hams, only quads. It's not a myth. I don't know what your form is like, but yeah, if you're not, I mean, just because you squat doesn't mean you get sore in your glutes, but you should absolutely be feeling it. It's hard for me to say. It's not a myth. It's not a myth at all. I mean, here's how the body works. You have a few muscles that do the same thing. The quads extend the knee. Okay? The glutes work in synergy with the hamstrings to extend the hip. And what happens is, because you're sitting down so often and the glutes technically just really get shut down, they get inhibited, your body will tend to default to using the hamstrings more than they need to be used, and the quads, and you'll feel it more there. I need to restart this one because it's going to end, so stay with me. Hold on, I got to restart that was an hour already. We already did an hour. I got to restart the Instagram Live. Only lets me do an hour, so let me start that up again. Is a detox drink good to do? I've never done it. I don't really see the point of it. I don't think you need to. Your body detoxes naturally. Just start shifting over to eating better foods. I mean, it's good to consume things like fermented foods. It's good to consume fermented foods. It's good to consume those types of things. But I have a big booty that I am content with, but I like to trim the hips. You can't spot reduce fat if that's what you're asking. Trim the hips, the side butt, and thighs. Any suggestions to focus on them? Just keep crushing the weights. Make sure you're hitting the gluteus medius. Make sure you're training legs hard, heavy. Cut out inflammatory food. Start looking at what you're eating, what your diet is like, for extra stubborn fat, because elevated stress hormones like cortisol, if you're not managing your stress properly, you'll store more fat around your hips and your midsection. So those are usually things that are overlooked. People don't focus enough on sleep, and people don't focus enough on stress management. And when stress hormones are elevated, people store more fat. And those are basic things, and it's not a supplement you buy in a store. It's getting some fucking sleep, and quality sleep. Meditation. Doesn't sound like, oh, that's not hardcore working out, but you manage your stress, you're going to manage your body fat and your water retention a lot more. Colton Cook, I have done heavy squats for years, but only really started focusing on glute activation beforehand within the past 6 months. Feels like I'm squatting for the first time. I know. It's fucking amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's magic. Let's do some IG stories questions. Thank you. You keep on dropping them. I'm just going to focus on IG stories for those of you that were answering in the IG stories. Sherry Cooper, when lifting, how do I determine if the weight is appropriate for my strength and ability to avoid injury? Well, if your form is breaking, then it's too heavy, or you need to focus on corrective exercise. Depends on the exercise, depends on, if the weight is appropriate for your strength. You never want to lift a weight that compromises your form. I'll leave it at that. If your form is compromised, it's too heavy and you need to go back, drop the weight, or focus on the basics. What's up, Mike? How you doing, bro? Chris Vent Gaines on IG. I train every day for an hour. I feel fine without rest days. What's your opinion? Are they needed? I don't know what your split is. You train every day for an hour. What do you do every day? So unfortunately, I cannot answer this question accurately. You feel fine without rest days. If you're training every day, you're not getting enough rest. When I say train every day, I don't mean resistance training every day. I mean you're also doing yoga and active recovery and mobility. So I think you should be training every day. When I say on the weekends, you got to train on the fucking weekends, bro. I don't necessarily mean you have to lift weights. If you're training and you lift weights 5 days during the week, maybe Saturday and Sunday is yoga, but that's amazing. And it's going to help you for your training during the week. So it depends on your split, depends on your goal, depends on what you're doing during those every day for an hour, which I don't have here. So I can't answer that completely, unfortunately. Max 1809, how bad is alcohol for your process? It's not going to help you. How much it hurts you depends person to person how much you're drinking. But if you have strong goals, they could easily get in the way. Colton Cook 1 on Instagram. You're hitting me up on Instagram too, bro? Nice. Do you do a mix of high versus low bar back squatting? Do you prefer one over the other? I do actually mix it up. I usually don't do high bar on the back squat. I usually do low bar on the back squat because I also do front squats a lot. I love front squats because they're very super functional. And I just like having that mobility. I like having the position on the front of my body in most cases. Low bar is more secure in many cases, and you can keep better alignment because you can keep your chin tucked in, your spine aligned, you're looking down at the ground when you're dropping down to the squat. You're not looking up. When you have the bar high, it's harder to keep your head down. It puts more pressure on your lower back. It puts more pressure on your lower back because you increase that distance from the hip to the bar. If it's in a low bar squat, you have a little bit more of a nice compressive position for the glutes and for the lower back. And it's a little bit more glute oriented. You get a little more glute activation. It will, how should I put this? You'll be able to drive through with the hips and the glutes a lot more when you're doing a low bar back squat, from my experience. Sheeter71 on Instagram. If I only have 30 minutes on a Saturday, what's the best workout plan? Again, I know these questions sound like they're going to have an answer, but if someone's trying to just give you a jabroni answer, that's what you're going to get because I don't have any information. There is no best workout plan, first off. Nowhere. There is absolutely no best workout plan. So 30 minutes on a Saturday, you could do yoga. You could do a workout. You could go for a walk. You could meditate. Like, there is no best workout plan, so it depends on what you're doing the rest of the days. I couldn't tell you what the best thing to do on a Saturday. It depends on so many other factors. Lestowski. The question I get is just avocados, question mark. I love them. I'm just going to leave it at that. Just avocados? Yes, avocados. Roughly how many calories do you consume in a day? I went over that. I'm not sure. I'll remember to count one of these days or I'll set it up. I really, literally, I don't even want to approximate. I'm sure I eat somewhere between 25 to 3,500. I'm just not sure exactly what it is. I'll look it up. I'll look and try to assess it one of these days, and I'll get an idea. I'll get a concept, but I really, literally do not count. That's how little of an idea I know how many calories I'm consuming. It's just because I don't care. It doesn't affect. It's not important to me. But I'll try to make it a point to analyze that so I can give you some context. If anyone, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm more interested in helping you figure out what you should be doing. A. Martinez, can you foam roll too much throughout the day? That's a good question. I doubt you'll get to the point where you're actually, oh my God, you're damaging the body. But if you're new to foam rolling, you could get really sore because you're digging the roller into the thighs or digging in. So like you might get sore for a couple days after, but it's not a bad sore. You might just get bruised. Like if you got a massage, someone's digging into the muscle tissue. So I wouldn't say, I don't want to say you can't, because you could probably overdo anything, but I'd be absolutely flabbergasted, shocked, amazed if you could actually foam roll too much. I doubt you're going to foam roll 6 hours a day. But if you did an hour a day, for example, like even that, it's a lot of time. You'll be fine. No, it's going to be good for you. I'll leave it with this. I've never had any issues doing foam rolling frequently. When I was really doing it a ton. I don't do it as often. I try to focus and do it at least a couple times a week, but I try to focus on getting yoga done more. Astanatas Mothrandir. What's your favorite movie of all time? Good question. What is my favorite movie of all time? Maybe Anchorman. There's so many good ones. High Noon, Beau Geste. Those are some old ones. My mom raised me on old black and white movies. Old Gary Cooper movies and shit. Favorite movie of all time? Pumping Iron's a classic. I don't think I have one that's my favorite. I just love. I don't like new movies suck. I can't stand any of the new shit that comes out. It's so bad. Weston Wayne, your thoughts on chest? Your thoughts on chest, tries, back buys, or does it matter as long as you see progress? Depends on your overall split. I'm not a big fan of chest and tries or back and buys. I like focusing on things more. I like doing supersets more. So if anything, if you did chest and buys, you go back and forth. I've been really liking chest and back because it hits the arms as well, and doing arms again later. I do kind of like upper, lower, upper type of breakup essentially now. And it really depends. You'll see progress with a split. You'll see progress doing total body workouts depending on how consistent you are and your overall goal. But you still have to train hard. If you're decreasing the volume because you're training more frequently, body parts during the week, you're doing each body part, let's say 2 or 3 times in a week, you got to increase the intensity and drop the volume because you need to be able to recover between workouts. You also have to be sleeping properly, hydrating properly, eating properly. Coda Bowers, tips on activating the long head of the tricep. I have a hard time feeling it contract. You need to get your shoulder into more flexion. Meaning if you're doing skull crushers or you're doing triceps pushdowns, you need to get your arms further in front of the body. So if you're laying on your back, you need to be pushing kind of back over your head a little bit more. You need to make sure that the long head is needing to be activated because the long head will stabilize the shoulder, especially if you're in more of a shoulder flexed position, if your arms are in front of the body. So instead of standing upright and just doing some stiff triceps pushdowns, lean forward, let your arms come up and do a little bit more of like a dumbbell kind of pull over or a straight arm pull down type thing with your triceps extensions, and it'll get a little bit more long head. Hard for me to explain verbally, but hopefully you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Chanel, do you drink bone broth plain or cold? Ooh, no, I don't drink it cold. Because it's like, it separates. If you drink it cold, it's going to be fucking like fat and like chunks in it. No, I do all my bone broth from scratch. I'll strain it and then I'll add like some sea salt, pepper, and maybe a sprinkle of garlic, and I'll mix it up, stir it up, and then I'll drink it. Definitely hot. So good questions on Instagram stories. I mean, I took these screenshots earlier, so if I missed anyone, if I missed something that you had asked me earlier, apologies, but I didn't see it. Let's see on Facebook if I see any questions that I missed. Good questions, fam. I've been cranking this for a while. I love the questions on a Sunday. I get a lot of people coming in. I think it's a great day. This is the second weekend in a row. We've done it before in the past. In the past, you'll see Sunday Q&A episodes, but this is the second time in a row in which we've done it. And I think I'm just going to keep it Sunday Swole Q&A because people usually have some more time off on a Sunday. And if you have questions during the week, I think it's a great thing. So if you enjoy it, make sure you drop in the comments if you like the Sunday Swole Q&A. I had a great time so far today. A lot of great questions. Let's see here. Oh, this is delayed. I'm not getting these. See, even the Facebook app is stupid. It's so off. It's so like the timing is. I have to like reload the whole page. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, Mike Stuttle. No, Mike, Colton was talking about Facebook or Instagram because Mike, Colton had asked a question here on Facebook, but then he also had previously, I was going through the Instagram questions and I saw his name pop up. So he was talking about the platforms, not Swolenormous X or not, but I appreciate it, Mike. The 90-Day Dash is the best program. It's the right and only program. I appreciate that, man. Can't wait to get you back in it. Josh Bernard, what's a good time frame to spend in a gym or working out in general? It depends, again, on how much time you have. I don't want to say an hour, and then some of you are like, oh, I only have a half an hour to work out. I'm not going to see great results. Not true. Not true. So, I mean, I would say an hour, hour and a half. You can get a great workout in half an hour. So I would say half an hour to an hour and a half. You don't need more than that, depending on what your goal is and what you're trying to do or accomplish in that day. I will say if you have less time, 30 minutes, do more general. I wouldn't go to the gym and do like concentration curls. I would go to the gym and do like maybe heavy pull-ups or pull-up negatives and do like, large macro movements, do deadlifts, do something that's going to hit larger muscle groups depending on how many times a week you have to work out. You can specify, you can keep it a little bit more general, like more compound movements. Which percentage of proteins, carbs, and fats? We don't get into those specifics. It depends on the person, the goal. You need to focus first on what you're consuming, not how much. There is no perfect macro ratio. Everyone's different depending on your needs. Oh, that's a good one, Tommy. Shit, I forgot about that one. Back to the Future. Yeah. Or Indiana Jones Part 3. That's a good one, too. Back to the Future. Which Back to the Future, though? I love the third one. I love Mad Dog Tannen. I love all of them. Those are great. Those are great movies. God, I love BTTF. Love it. I love BTTF. When deadlifting, is the hex bar better than the regular bar? It's not necessary. See, anytime anyone's going to ask, anytime anyone says better, best, I'm always going to say there is no better, there is no best. Okay? The straight bar is great. Hex bar is also good. The benefit or a reason to use the hex bar over a straight bar, if you have one available, is that you can keep the force, the weight more on the sides of your body, and it'll put less pressure on your lower back because you're able to keep the weight, or you're able to lean back more. You keep your the path of the weight more towards the mid of the body rather than the front of the shin. So it's going to stress your lower back less if you're doing a hex bar. So if you have problems and you're listening, if you have issues with your back, anyone that's doing deadlifts, hex bar or not, the hex bar would take more pressure off your lower back. And also, you don't have to start from the ground. You can always go up on blocks and do it from a little bit of a higher position, which I actually recommend for most people. You don't need to deadlift from the ground. That's just it's classically done, but it's a lot higher risk for your lower back. If you just raise it up maybe like 4 or 6 inches, you'll get all the benefits of a deadlift and you won't have to reach from that low position because it doesn't fit everyone. A deadlift is a very standard position. It's the bar is at this height with a 45 plate, and it's always, but everyone's different. People have different limb lengths. People have different shin lengths, right? The tibia, femur, arm lengths, everyone's got different torso lengths. So the same deadlift is going to be different for different people. That's why people that are shorter and have longer arms are better in the deadlift because they can sit back more. So don't feel weird adjusting it. You're not cheating if you raise the bottom point up like 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. You'll still get all the benefits of a deadlift. You just won't risk your lower back as much. And most people have bad posture and bad dynamic posture and bad strength ratios around the hips. So if you don't have good form from the bottom, you got to be super careful, right? Ooh, holy Q&A, fam. You guys are fucking killing it. I love it. I love it. It's a Q&A. Do you run or cardio? That's the same thing. But no, I don't. I walk a lot. I do yoga. I do my meditation. I use the step mill to warm up before the gym to get my heart rate up and to prime my body. If I do any kind of cardio, it's like sprinting, interval sprints, or long, slow duration, just walking. Hill sprints or interval sprinting is great. I don't beat myself up with cardio. There's a lot of stuff coming out lately that cardio ages people more than anything else. Oxidization and stuff like that. So people beat the fuck out of themselves with cardio. I think that's going to come out in the end that it's going to be fucking with everyone's telomeres and shit. Oh, Karate Kid, of course, but I don't think number 2 gets enough credit. Miyagi, You Are a Coward. God, good movies. The more movies. Oh, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly? Absolutely. The Man with No Name. Yeah, these are all great movies. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, that's just for like the fucking final scene when they're in the graveyard. Mike Stuttle, hopefully in a month I'll be back to the gym and the program. This time I'm going to take a daily picture journal. Good shit. What's your favorite workout? I don't have a favorite workout. I don't. Training my calves. I'll say that's my favorite. But I make the areas that I need to work on the most my favorite. I don't think of things as favorites because then they get biased attention. So I try not to think of anything. I just think of something I have to do. So anytime you struggle with something, make it your psychological favorite. You don't want to bias your body towards anything. You always want to approach it from the aspect of a bodybuilder. You want to approach your fitness from the aspect of I'm trying to develop everything evenly and proportionate. And it's going to be better that way. Scarface, that's another great movie. I've been deadlifting on a Smith machine. I find it awkward. Fuck yeah. How could I make it feel more comfortable when I use a Smith machine? Don't deadlift on a Smith machine. That's how you do it. You do not deadlift on a Smith machine. I would never recommend anyone do that in any case. You can deadlift, adjust it, modify. I mean, what's the reasoning for deadlifting on a Smith? No, no, and no. So I'll leave it at that. Definitely don't deadlift on a Smith machine. And that's my opinion. Thor, is that you? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining me for episode 905. Amazing Q&A. I'm sure we could be here all day, but all the more reason to make sure you're here for next Sunday's Q&A. But of course, I'm here every day. And for those of you that are in Swolenormous X already, I'll be posting some events, some stuff that's coming up this week, State of the Swole accountability meeting, the masterclass this week. We're going to be talking about that kind of stuff. So make sure that you are keeping your eyes peeled into the private group. Those of you that are members of Swolenormous X, anyone else that wants to get in and check out the master classes and all the stuff that we're doing this week in X. You could check out all the other memberships and stuff I have to offer as well. You can check it out, swolenormousx.com. I'll take two more questions because these are popping up. You're welcome, little mama. Jennifer Brown, how do you fix a lagging body part, both with lifted and appearance? Appearance is very, very, you can't measure appearance. So you fix a lagging body part by training it more intensely, prioritizing it. Holy shit, a lot of questions. I think I missed one that said, is there any benefits to a Smith? Yeah, you can use a Smith for certain things. We have a 3D Smith at the gym, but I don't like a lot of static Smith. I'm sure there are applications. I'm not just going to go through them now, but most people will benefit from not using a Smith machine for sure. You're welcome, Josh. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support, man. Rayan. That's a long question. I don't really have time for that right now, but let me see if I can read it quickly. Hour, 20 minutes, a month ago, same routine. Generally skinny, struggle, knees are achy. I don't hear any, just from gazing over that long question, yoga. I don't see anything that you mentioned about yoga. I see a lot of cardio. I see weight training. I don't see anything. Your knees are achy. You need to focus on yoga. You have to check on your form. Maybe you're not progressing properly. But Rayan, I would say yoga because I don't see that mentioned once in everything that you mentioned up there. Yoga. Benedetto Giuliano. Do you train counting reps or time during your exercise? Do you 1 minute reps? No. I'll go off a certain number of reps, but I don't count my reps. I know how much weight would be heavier or lighter, but I don't count 5, 6. I have an idea if I want to go low reps, moderate reps, or high reps, but I don't count the individual reps. I push until I can't. You're welcome. Great questions. And if you have that question, Benedetto, you can actually go back and listen to episode 1, Counting Gains of the Daily Swole. I talk about counting reps. So you can go back and listen to that on SoundCloud. Anyway, thank you so much, fam, for joining me for episode 905. You can always hit me up and message me on Facebook. You can hit me up on Instagram. Just give me some time because I get tons of messages, so I'll get back to them as soon as I can. Again, if you have any interest in joining the private fam and hooking into the live masterclasses this week and accountability meetings, also all my programs, everything, check it out, swolenormousx.com. You could always also check out swolenormousx.com for the podcast. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, swolenormousx.com, click on podcast in the main menu, and you'll see all the links where you can find which one is best for you and to listen to the show. You could also sponsor the Daily Swole, so you can check that out, swolenormousx.com, all the deets there. And I will see everyone tomorrow for episode 906 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose. Have a great Sunday. Papa Swolio. Out.